Hello. Today, taking out the clear tail lights. I love them, but somebody wants to buy them, so I'm gonna let them go. Driver's side tail light, out. One tail light is out, and honestly, I'm gonna miss these. Boom. I put the OEM one back on because I put red tint, and dude, it looks so good. It used to be all broken, but I saved it. I made it work. And dude, that looks good. The red goes pretty damn hard. How could you not love the clears? Clears are just dope. But I like the red. Oh yeah, in the engine bay, I added some coolant because it's a little bit low, just a little bit. And I put the OEM radiator cap because it looks way cleaner. Next is a different intake because the red, I don't vibe with the red. This is gonna be the setup for now. Not bad. Boom. The reds look freaking sick. We're gonna do the intake on the good old SE. I like this intake, but it's red. I'm gonna put Martha's old intake. Swap. Ta-da! I love this way more than the red. The red just didn't go. Looking sick. Oil change on this cutie. If you ever having trouble taking out that oil filter, well, there's a way to do it. Just take the wheel off, and you'll have a little bit better access to the oil filter. Dude, the guy that used to own the car was so fucking low. Look at that. He almost destroyed the oil pan. Ew. New filter is in, hand tight. Now I put the oil drain plug back in. No funnel, gang. Working on Martha. So everything in the engine bay is pretty stock. Interior's pretty stock. Mainly only thing left is the wheel, the coilovers, knuckles. Right now we're gonna jack it all up. Boom. Martha is floating on all four wheels. She has 4 jack stands. Now I can do a lot. So hopefully this will be a quick little video. So first thing I'm doing is taking off the trunk. Ta-da! Trunk is gone. Now here's the stock one. Boom. OEM trunk is on. It looks clean. It looks funny. I'm not used to this. Something else I want to do is take off all the spacers so I can take out the rotors and blah, blah, blah. Boom. Look at that. All the spacers are out. I had 6 of them. That's sick. But nice. Now I can do the brakes, rotors, and take out my suspension. Hello. So today we're gonna try to get started on the diff. So there's a water diff. We can't have it in there. So let's get started. First, we have these big old bolts. Guess what? The braces on. You probably can't see me too good, but the braces on top of me, it's off. Look at that little stick. But right, next is this mid pipe. Okay, we got the mid pipe out, and now we have the cross member off. I'm gonna loosen the drive shaft bolts, which are right there. So you need a wrench and a socket. Guess what? Drive shaft is loose. I'm gonna leave it right here on the side. But diff is almost ready to come out. Next, you have to undo the axles, and to do that, well, the easiest way that I remember that I ended up doing with Dustin is you undo the upper control arm, then you can push it back. You can basically move the entire knuckle back. But something you also might want to do is undo your caliper, because if you move this entire thing back, you're gonna be stretching out the brake line. So undo your caliper and then your upper control arm. I'm gonna take the caliper and the rotor and everything all together and put on top of this box, so I don't have to later on match the caliper with the rotor and that nightmare. Ta-da, look at that. When you do this upper control arm bolt, be careful because sometimes it'll swing down and the control arm will swing up. So just beware. Not bad. And then to undo the axle, I already got it loose, but get like a pry bar, Put it in between here. Don't damage. There's like a little thin debris from going into the axles and the diff fluid. But look, put it between here and just start prying off. As you can see, I already got it going, but it'll come out. I undid the upper control arm because now I can just basically pull it back. It also pulls back the axle. Oh my God. Alright, after a lot of work, we got both of the knuckles out. It was quite a nightmare. I had to undo the bottom of the shock, undo the upper control arm, of course. And I had to put a bolt on the bottom and just basically use all the force to push this back. I don't know if you can tell, but this axle popped out, so I have to pop it back in. Right now, I'm gonna take out the coilover, because it's just two nuts holding the top of it. In your trunk, you gotta move all of your... Here you go. Coilover is out. Oh, don't put it on my phone. Oh, look at that. Damn, these things have been here for like over 2 years, I'm pretty sure. There's a hole in your car. Hell yeah, look at that. No more suspension. Guess what, boys and girls? Suspension is out. Okay, today we're gonna do the diff. So first I'm gonna start by undoing the transmission brace. That thing. So I'm gonna do that. And then the other side, I'm gonna loosen the other side so I can have room to wiggle it out. Look how dirty it is. The diff mount, or whatever that is, I got two of the nuts off. And so far, I took one of the bolts out, but this one is stuck because the nut, or that weird circle nut on top of it, won't come off. But we'll see what I do next. I don't know if you can see, but the entire implant, whatever, is undone from the transmission. Now it's time to drop that diff. Get ready for the most satisfying part ever. Guys, I did it. The damn diff is out. Look at that. Hello, many days later. Got the open diff in it. I had to use an angle grinder to destroy this thing because it was stuck. But there you go. Now let's put it back in. New diff is in. Next is taking out these coilovers and undoing this entire thing. So I'm gonna start off by undoing the outer tie rod. And to do this, I already got the nut loose, but it's stuck. So I have this cool ball joint tool, which you put this under the boot. This goes on top. You tighten that with either a wrench, ratchet, or you can use a little impact gun. I didn't invest in a real impact gun. It's more like a little impact wrench. Very helpful. Does the job. But for something like that, you might want a little bigger gun. There you go. I don't know if you saw that. I hope you did. Outer tie rod is loose. Hope you guys were able to see that, but outer tie rod is out. And I'm going to put this nut here so I don't get confused. There you go. Alright, next is undoing the knuckle from the ball joint. So let's do that. I didn't catch it on video last time, but when I did the lower ball joint, it made a loud boom. I jumped. It was freaking terrifying. But I'm gonna do it again. Oh, there's no room. There you go. Man, if only you guys were here. This is terrifying. That wasn't too bad. You got one front coilover out. Now let's install the top hatch. So we have a spring compressor. That is our spring compressor. We're gonna make the spring smaller. We're gonna compress the springs so we can put the top hatch on, because you can see they won't go in. Look, so we tried the spring compressors, and it did not work at all. It was a fail. The springs kept coming off, or the compressors kept coming off, blowing out. It was dangerous. I was tired of it. So, got one done, because I found a new way to do it, and it's safer. So get your top hatch, put it on here, put on a nut. Okay, top hatch is on. Now make sure you have room. So upper control arm is out, everything's out of the way. Now you can get your stock suspension, your stock coilover. And this, you're gonna want to line it up with the top hatch. And when the top hatch is there, you get the jack under the shock. Now you have the jack, jacking up the shock, only the shock. And then this, you're gonna wanna line it up. You want to line it up. And then the stud, that centerpiece, you want it to go into the hole. So as she jacks it up, you should find a hole like here. See the stud? So when you jack it up, make sure it goes perfectly through the hole. So, she's gonna jack it up. Okay, remember that trick I was doing to, instead of using the spring compressor, you just bring up the entire shock into the, wherever the top hatch goes? Well, the problem on the other side is I can't lower control arm off or like bent down. Because you want the lower control arm to be out of the way, because right when I'm doing it, it's basically jacking up the car into an angle. It's sketchy. This side, the lower control arm wouldn't come off. So on this side, I was actually able to get both of these bolts loose. But right now, I'm in the process of taking out the knuckle. So look how dangerous doing the knuckles is with this tool. So first, I'm gonna do the lower tie rod. Oh. That's the outer tie rod, and Jesus Christ, that sounded terrifying. That's not even the ball joints, dude. Alright, tie rod is out. Now moving on to the ball joint, which I'm terrified. I did it last time, and oh my. If you don't have one of these tools, I super recommend them. Instead of hammering the knuckle for like half an hour, use this. This thing is awesome. And put some grease on the bolt. Johan told me to do that, and he's right. It makes it way smoother. Shout out to Johan. He helped me through everything. I miss him. We need him back in the video. Okay. Oh, there you go. Look at the fucking control arm. Look at that. Now the control arm is down. Now I have all this room to fully jack up the shock into the top hatch. It'll be way easier. So here's what I do. I first put on the top hatch, put one nut on it. And down here, we have entire shock and spring going up into the top hatch. And then you just jack it up. And then you make sure the spindle, axle, little axle, whatever you call it, the center of the shocks, you make sure that goes into the hole. So look, coilovers all together now. See that? All in. And look at that. I got all the springs. Well, I got all the top hatches on the OEM springs, or OEM suspension. I could not do this with the spring compressor. That thing sucked. Okay, so let's finish up the rear. So let's put on the OEM suspension back in there. My friend Dustin, he came by earlier. He popped in the axle because I was having trouble. And guess what? It took him like 3 seconds to pop them in. All you had to do was literally use this and just pop it in. I don't know why it took so long to do it. But shout out to him for being able to do it for me. Alright, next is connecting the control arms and getting the axles. Here, it's going to be all together. Ta-da! Rotor, caliper, and the upper control arm all connected. She's all good. Rear is basically done. Many days later, I have not been recording much, but here's what we have done. I already did this on both sides. So I have the knuckle with the hub, the extended lower ball joints. I'm taking the tie rod, and it's like literally brand new sway bar end links. Okay, yeah, that'll be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Press that like and subscribe. You're awesome.